Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Hallis Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you
here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Bodies by Jeremy Campbell.
That's right. It's Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B. Good afternoon, JB. I'm back from my trip. I'll send you pictures when I get a chance. Can't wait to be back on tonight. Awesome win on Monday night. Yeah, speaking of which, when you look at the PFF grades, there wasn't very many offensive Lions that had a bad grade. At the top, down to where it gets below 80, you're talking about a Tom Ra, Taylor Decker, Coyote Awasika, Graham Glasgow, Kevin Zietler, Panay Sewell, Sam Laporta, and Parker Hess. The next one down after that are all in the high 70s is Jamison Williams, Jared Goff, David Montgomery, Tim Patrick, Khalif Raymond, Dan Skipper, Brock Wright, and Jahmyr Gibbs. That's it. That is everybody above a 70. That's a lot of Lions with really good grades. Yeah, here goes all the Devontae Detroit rumors. It's every single free agent or trade ever. I doubt we land them. It's not the type of move that Brad Holmes makes. 100%. You know, I I I I don't know how many times Brad has said, until we're ready, we're not making that splash deal. And I don't think we're ready. Man, those black jerseys are fire, 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 and awesome to see them in prime time. It was glorious. I can't believe how good it went all the way around. We dictated that game with offense. We got some good. Um, I don't see the Jets. The Jets are one of those teams that would have to massage their cap room. Same with the Saints. The Saints would have to massage their cap room like they were the Texans hiring masseuses for Deshaun Watson. They have so little cap room this year. They've been in cap hell every year. It's going to continue to stay that way. Cap may be a myth, but when you have none, you got to massage the fuck out of that cap space. Thank you again, fans, for sharing me out. We're currently at 521 subs, still growing every week. I don't care if it's one or it's 20. You guys make it happen. Thank you. Man, what can we say? Jared Goff has a perfect day passing. His only snafu was on a pass interference play, so it didn't count. He was 18 of 18. On the defensive side of the ball, it was Aiden Hutchinson, DJ Reader, Ali McNeil, Levi Amuzariki, Jack Campbell, Malcolm Rodriguez. Then above 70 was Alex Anzalone, Carlton Davis, Kirby Joseph, Brandon Joseph, Terry Ann Arnold. Josh Pascal is the last one above that 65 line. This was his best game, but also his most snap count. So Aiden Hutchinson got a 91 grade because they keep burning it up by trading away people. I'm happy to hear it, Will. I don't want Adams. He's a crybaby, and when he's not the number one target, he would cause too many issues in the locker room because he has no problem speaking his mind. That's just it. We tend to spread the ball around more than anybody. That's why you're not seeing everybody with over 100 yards every game. JMO had 2 catches for 80 yards and a tutty. So he made up for it last week having his 6 touchdowns without a touchdown. Matt Henry, good morning. Good win over the Rams, even though they were more injured than the 2021 Lions to begin the season. Oh, he's here. Yeah, I know. I loved it. The truck stick's been activated. As they say in Mortal Kombat, flawless victory. I thought it would have been a fatality, but nope, he got right back up. Oh man, what a great game though. 21-7 at the half. Was it concerning we gave up 22 points in the second half? Yes. There was a lot of things concerning. 5 penalties on Carlton Davis, 3 penalties on Terrion Arnold. You know, unlike my publisher, I thought what Joe Fuck said was annoying and didn't need to be said because we already know he's a rookie. He's adjusting to the NFL. He's still doing things like they were able to get away with in college. You can't get away with in the NFL. It's slowly getting less. Yeah, I did. That that was funny. What I thought was funny, yes, Goff has more receiving touchdowns than Andrews, Kelsey, Waddle, and a few others. Yes, Adams is a diva. Saints, Vikings, Arizona, and foreskins make sense. Um, I don't think Arizona makes as much sense as everybody says because they're a defense away from being good. Sorry, not sorry. That defense is trash. They let an injured Rams team walk all over them. No, they housed the Rams and then lost to us. Sorry, I got it backwards. And then they lost the next week. The Rams aren't close. I don't think they're. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals aren't close. You think the Philly special will be a regular thing or no? No, I think it was something that they could get away with. I know we were playing more of a preventative defense, but the lack of tackling from the linebackers in the corners that was irritating. The other thing that was irritating, it's the Motor City Muscle Special now. I like it, but the other thing that I found irritating is every time Nikai Wingo was in, He lacked the lateral agility to be able to stop the run game or Geno Smith from getting out of containment. The lateral for a first down, Kirby whiffing on the sack, and Anzalone dropping the IAT, the game could have been a blowout. That's not even a question. It's Megatron. Good Lord. Oh, there could have been four. But once again, who's the only free safety with a 0 QBR this year against him? Tied for the lead in the league with interceptions with Xavier McKinney. It's that stealth technology known as Kirby Joseph in the end zone. QBs just don't see him, evidently. He's there, he's in coverage. They just don't see him. I understand we played basically the exact same defense we did against Arizona. Yes, Kirby. Kirby right now should be the number one rated safety in the league when it comes to coverage. I don't care what anybody says. But every time Gino was able to break containment or Kenneth Walker could break containment on the D line, Wingo was in. I said his lateral agility was going to hurt him at the NFL with running QBs and running backs. And so far I've been right. That's why he isn't used outside. Look at where our sacks came from. McNeil, Reeder, and Wuzariki. 14 pressures, 14 QB hurries by Aiden Hutchinson is why. Yeah, retire it to the Hall of Shame. It should be right there with the moniker 0-16 because of you, Dan Orlovsky. We had a chance to win that Colts game. How many yards rushing did Smith get? That's a good question. I'll look for you right now. Geno Smith had 5 carries for 38 yards. Mike Clammer, my cousin. Good to see you, cuz. Nice to see you here. I feel they changed up the D a little and shouldn't have. Yes, they went more zone. Carryon Arnold was targeted 12 times and had three penalties. CD3 was targeted 13 times and had 5. Yes, Kirby still has the 0.0 passer rating against. The only pass they could have completed, Brendan Joseph saved him. Remember that? Where he bit up close and stayed at the front of the end zone, and Brendan Joseph walked across. Oh, he got a lot more last season. After 18 of 18 night, Jared Goff named Offensive Player of the Week. Defense, they shouldn't have been gassed. The time of possession is nuts. Both teams allowed 3 sacks. Both teams punted the ball 3 times. 8 of our penalties came out of the backfield. Oh, I know. I know, Mike Glamour. 8 penalties out of the defensive backfield. Do you realize how many were called total? 12 for 101 yards. Most of it was CD3, 52 yards against. But everybody's calling out, yeah, Goff should have got a game ball. Dan Campbell apologized for it. They ran the place. They ran 78 plays. We only ran 50. Good morning, Harmer Homington. We were 3 for 6. They were 5 of 10. We did not go for a single fourth down. Book it. Dan Campbell only does it when necessary now. They were 1 for 2 on fourth down. So according to if you want my power rankings right now, the undefeateds are 1 and 2. That's the Chiefs and Vikings. Who's the first one to go down? Offensively, I think the Chiefs will be the first team to get a loss. As they should. So 1 and 2 is them. Right now, I say at 3, it's the Lions. It's either the Lions or the Bucks. Yeah, he did finally get. He got one yesterday for him. NFL history, breaking Kurt Warner's record from 2001 of 17 of 17 for a complete game. Who'd have thought we'd be talking about Jared Goff breaking a record from the greatest team on turf? Yeah, the Bucks ain't no joke. Not even saying it. They did fall asleep at the wheel the next week. Who knows? I'd say I would put Goff's in there from from Monday night 100%. Who had on their red zone who had on their red zone scoring card for their bingo for Monday night football Jared Goff with a receiving touchdown from Amon-Ra St. Brown? If you had that on your scoring card and you won a bingo on it, I'll kiss your ass because it wasn't on mine. I never thought I'd see the day. So far, it's a great day. So, what do you guys want to ask? What questions? Oh, it's just the alternator went down. Uh, that's an easy fix. Is a really Ray says I got a bingo. Bend over. So now we got the best red zone threat for receiving touchdowns in the league at quarterback. Man, I can't say it enough. I don't know why Jared Goff didn't get a higher PFF rating. They evidently hate him. How can you be perfect and not give him, God, what, at least an 80? I know why he didn't get a perfect QBR. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, yes, combined are the best things to happen to the Detroit Lions. But if you want to know the absolute best thing, it was Martha handing the team over to Sheila to let it happen the way it did. Um, that's because your fan motor is controlled by the current from your alternator. So if it's not recharging, it's not going to run your electric cooling fan, which does allow it to get hot. That's why. You could hardwire it so it goes straight to the ignition. Or if you turn your uh, setting to defrost, it always runs because it makes it an automatic on switch direct to the battery. But that's why I named my channel Kneecap Biting, and I've only changed the with the part. I changed it from with Smoke and Jeremy B because I wanted to make it less about myself and more about the team. I originally changed it to the Detroit Lions, but after they started shutting some shows down with the name Detroit Lions in it, I said, well, maybe it should be Motor City Lions because Detroit has always been known as the Motor City. And as long as the big three are in that city, they will be. So I think the best thing that happened was when she signed it over to the team. Martha wrote that letter at the end of the 2019 season when she gave it to Sheila and made Sheila promise the fans that as soon as the Lions were mathematically eliminated from making the playoffs, which happened in that awful Thanksgiving Day game versus the Texans. Thank you, Deshaun Watson, for not getting caught with massages before that game. And thank you, uh, who was that? Will Fuller, the fifth. They had the great game against us. Then they find out he tested positive for PEDs the day after the game. Little sus, don't you think? But you want to know what the greatest part of this game was? We scored 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter. We still outscored them because we were up 28-7 at the half. So it was quite amazing. Uh, I was sitting here with Leonard, and I know he hates it, but Goff had a great game. Not a good game, a great game. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a god. I don't worship the ground he walks on. But that quite possibly was one of the best QB performances I ever watched. Motor City Madhouse equals Ford Field. Fans are making it so hard for opponents. 100%. It's not like they had a clean game either. They had 9 penalties for 70 yards. Most of it on the offensive side. So many false starts, so many holdings, so many things came back. But yet, we still didn't give up 100 yards on the ground to running backs. But we did let Kenneth Walker run in for 3 touchdowns. And who had AJ Barner as the only guy scoring for the Seahawks offense as a receiver? Not I. We kept Smith Najigba out, we kept Lockett out, and we kept Metcalf out. That's a testament to how much better our secondary was. Well, they just got to beat them today, and then it's a sweep because it's a 3-game series in that wild card round. Interesting factoid in the major league since they refs sucked all night. Yeah. Yes, Brett, 10 Nugent, Mother City Madhouse. I love it. But even though DK Metcalf had 7 for 104 yards, which is the most he had in any one game versus Detroit, despite what anyone thinks, he didn't get a touchdown. I wonder what their red zone efficiency was. It was actually pretty good, I think, if I remember right. I think they were 3 of 7, almost 50%. A couple of the plays were outside, but most of it was all in the red zone. That's concerning. Let's go. Detroit Lions won pride. Kings of the North Division Championship title. All grit, never back down. 3-1. So the highest you can have us is 3, but because of heads up play, I think we're fourth in the power rankings on my end because the Bucks beat us. I got the Seahawks below us. Does anybody disagree with that assessment for my personal power rankings? I got it because they've been doing it more convincingly. I got it Minnesota, Chiefs, Bucks, Lions, than everybody else. Oh, Houston was awful. He was our worst rated player on the team. He had less than a 25. I can't believe how awful he was. Oh, sure, we need another edge, but I don't think we're trading for one unless it's kind of a player per player deal. And I don't think anyone wants Houston after what they saw last night because if it wasn't for his 2 penalties, I wouldn't have known he was on the field. Think about that. Our defense was 10 of our 12 penalties. We got to get that under control. We can't have the defense doing that. If it's 6, maybe 8, I get it, but because the crowd goes quiet for our offense now till the play happens, and I love it. You can almost hear a pin drop sometimes when they yell hike. Let's get into the deep stats. I'm gonna bring up the ESPN stats on my phone. I want the box score, not an article, people. There we go. Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to say one thing, and no one's gonna like it. CD3, the reason why DK Metcalf didn't have more catches than he did is because he grabbed his arms on a lot of those penalties he got, and they were well deserved. He could say that the refs were being petty, but I think it was warranted. Here's the crazy thing on the passing. We were a total of 19 and 19. We were perfect when you include Amon-Ra St. Brown. They were 38 of 56. We averaged 12.4 yards per pass, and that's with one of them being a 7-yard touchdown to Goff. But Goff doesn't have a deep ball. They were getting 6.5 yards per pass. Interceptions thrown, they threw one. If you're perfect, you can't throw a interception. On our 3 sacks that we had on offense against us, we lost 26 yards, they only lost 12. They had 19 rushing attempts with 7 yards per carry. We had 28 with 4.1. Red zone attempts, I was right. They got 3, but they only had 4 attempts. We were 5 for 5. Turnovers, they had 2, a fumble loss, and interception road. That fumble that Jack Campbell created was beautiful. The attendance last night of actually sat in seats was 66,658. That means we filled the standing room again. Thank you, Detroit. Jameer Gibbs had 5.6 yards per carry. David Montgomery had 3.3. Jared Goff was negative 2 yards. His passer rating was a 155.8. His QBR was a 95.1. How loud did it get? I was listening. I wasn't able to listen to it, but it, it got pretty loud, especially when Jared Goff received the touchdown. Jared Goff, of course, with the only INT, and also led the team in tackles. He had 9 total, 5 solo, and 4 assisted. Amik Robertson was our best tackler with 8 solo tackles. Jack Campbell had 7 total tackles with 6 solo. Carlton Davis had 7 with 4 solo. Alex Anzalone had 7 with 5 solo. Our tackles for loss came from Kirby Joseph, Jack Campbell, Carlton Davis, Malcolm Rodriguez. Our sacks, Levi Amuzariki and Ali McNeil combined for 1. DJ Reader had 1. Malcolm Rodriguez had 1. But QB hits, Aiden Hutchinson had 3. Alex Anzalone had 2. Pressures, 16 by Aiden Hutchinson with 14 hurries. Jake Bates were 6 for 6. It's like the Lions are putting it in their face and Goff smoking the NFL. LOL, I love it. 2-0 on primetime, boys. We're a primetime team. Let's face it. Do you know what our record is in primetime over the past 2 seasons? 3 seasons, even. Have a good day, Will Vogel. Our record so far in primetime, we've lost 2 games in the last 3 seasons. How many QBs in the NFL are getting their name chanted at every event in the state? I don't know, but I doubt there's many. I think Stafford after the Super Bowl year was about it. But hell, we're even being chanted at Michigan, Michigan State, Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, Central Michigan, Ferris State, Saginaw Valley State, Mott College, right here in Flint. Down there when they're playing, they chant Jared Goff when anybody mentions the Lions. How crazy is that? Goff is Mr. Primetime. He's got a hell of a record in his career in primetime. Yeah, we're 7-1 in primetime over the past 3 years. No, 2 years, 2 years, excuse me. What's the one we lost? Would that have been the Ravens game? No, Dallas. Dallas was the only game we lost in prime time. We're taking that back in in 2 weeks. In this crazy mixed up NFL season this year, Dallas is 2-0 on the road and 0-2 at home. There is no home cooking in Dallas. The fans go quiet real quick. That's crazy. Dallas, they don't deserve it. Oh, I think that's going to be the new background on one of these things. We need to shut the Cowboys right off at the beginning and don't let the gas off the pedal and keep pounding like we did last week. T-Bone Loach, you say a regressing O line, but guess what? All five of them ranked higher than Amon-Ra St. Brown, according to PFF. I don't think Adams to the Jets is a sure thing. I think if they can massage the cap room, the Saints will probably be it. Jerry is going to cry again or have a heart attack. Well, let's look at it. They don't have their two bookends. They don't have Parsons. They don't have Ware. Uh, they're missing some things. I think Bland's even still out. I actually felt sorry for Jerry when he was crying last year. I did not. I never feel sorry about Jerry Jones. The guy's a pompous ass who talks too much shit for someone that has absolutely almost zero to do with how the players play on the field. If he was a good GM and a good owner, he'd get rid of Mike. He'd have got rid of Mike McCarthy. That's my honest opinion. One week away from 54 in Orlando. Hell no, no sympathy with Cowboys anything. I'm not the one that does the rankings here. Um, the Lions actually rated pretty good offensively. Probably because we still had over 100 yards on the ground. They were missing three down linemen and two linebackers. They did a good job. I don't know. Sam Laporta was rated one of our highest players. Doesn't help. I knew it wouldn't get called. Sam Laporta was targeted 4 times with 4 catches for 53 yards. That's 13.3 yards a catch. Tim Patrick was targeted 2 times for 52 yards. Jamison Williams targeted 2 times for 80 yards. 40 yards per average. David Montgomery had 1 catch, and when he truck sticked the hell out of Devin Witherspoon. Brock Wright had 2 catches on 2 targets. So I don't see where our tight ends were asked. They're just not being targeted in the red zone. They caught everything that was thrown at them. So that's the thing. We didn't have a single drop. I can't complain about anybody. Um, we had the best performance out of Josh Pascal we've seen. As much as I hate to say it, he got a 67.8. He was the last of the good ratings according to PFF. The only guys below him was Hogan Hatton, our long snapper for punts, and James Houston. What was that penalty on Brock Wright? Um, he was, I don't know. I can't remember what that was. What was the penalties? Doesn't say what it was. I'll have to look at the play by play here. I mean, Seahawks dominated the time possession with 34 minutes. We had it for 25, almost 26. Right, but that doesn't count statistically. Yeah, it was a pick play. Wasn't that the one where Amon Ra came across and Wright kind of picked the guy off? He basically blew the guy away, and it was like 7 yards down the field. I think it was. Yeah, that was what it was. If he'd have been 2 yards closer, it'd have been legal. But he was past the 5 yards where you can make contact with the defender. He's just busy, Ji. He'll get back with you. That was his only bad pass all night, though. You can't say Goff threw a bad pass that counted. As a team, we were 19 for 19 because Amon Ra dropped a dime better than any Michigan quarterback has done in all games. You know what? Say what you want, but technically in coverage, guess who? Terrion Arnold's been our best rookie in coverage since Darius Slay, and veered off his route and made it obvious. Yes. I mean, he practically tackled the guy. It was kind of funny. He'll get back to you. Like I said, he's a busy guy. He's got all sorts of business he takes up. Goff played a stellar game. Even if I say I think he's mediocre, he was great that recent game. I think Goff is above mediocre. I think Goff is as good as the team around him, and the team around him's pretty fucking good. So he'll be pretty fucking good. And I'll leave it at that. And CD3 had more penalties than on Arnold. I'm more concerned with CD3, who's the vet leadership in that room. Hey, I said some negative things about Goff. Right. We are a top 10 D. Unfortunately, Orlando, much to your chagrin, we're going to finally be out of it this week because of what happened in the second half when we went to soft zone coverage. All those yards came in the second half. Remember, we went into the halftime at 28-7. I'm not complaining for 21-7. We scored 14 points in the third quarter. You know what? You can say that they got through their hard part of the schedule. Um, the Texans and the 49ers were their biggest test. I had a feeling, even though I wanted Green Bay to win because that would be better if we were all tied atop the division, it's not. So what's your prediction when we play the Vikings? We don't play them till later in the year. I hope that Sam Darnold of old shows up. That's all I got to say. Because if he doesn't, it's going to be a hard game. But this was a hard game. This this was one of the harder games to start our schedule. I did not think it was the Rams, and it worked. That's crazy. I know. Hey, I think it's going to be a hard fought, close game. It always is. It's a rivalry game. All of our games in our division are close. Sometimes a lot closer than we want them to be. Oh yeah, except for Week 4 versus the Packers last year. That game was never close. So other than we owe him for that beating because that was a Patricia ran defense. Uh, Sam Darnold wasn't that good the rest of the season. That was the only game he looked that good in. Of course, he won Angry Run of the Week. Is it true? Are you holding a contest for an extra 10% off on a new set of tires? If we get Juniors. If you believe anything that comes out of Junior's mouth, you got issues. How's that? That was a good one, Ji. You almost had me. Oh, Yeah, I'm gonna say the running backs beat us in Carolina. They had 250 yards rushing before halftime. I hope this is the worst performance that any team or the best performance any running backs do against us. They had 95 yards total, the running backs, 80 yards by Kenneth Walker and 3 touchdowns. So if that's the best performance any running back puts on us, we're going to be in good shape. 38 yards. Yoli Cruz, hello. Good to see you. JI says, I have to get back to work. Big meeting coming up. Thanks for the great podcast and conversation. Absolutely. I'm glad you enjoyed the show last night. Make sure you subscribe to the South Florida Tribune because they like you a lot, JI. We talked about it after the show. Brent, have a good day back to work. And it is about that time to do the standings, bottom to top. Not even caring, not asking. For the Packers, FTP in last place because they lost to the Vikings. Third place in the division, fresh off their only conference win, it's the Bears. In second place, it is none other than the Detroit Lions. And in first place, they can just cold fucking. Yes. And next week it'll be fuck the Cowboys. I told Leonard to get that ready for me. That's got to be on every show all week long till we play. Fuck the Cowboys. Fuck them boys. Nah, that don't sound right. Fuck the Cowboys. I like it. And last but not least, it's time to talk about my paying sponsor because that's how I get my bills get paid. It's Brandon Service at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 at West Atherton Road. Where? In Flint, where the water's shit, but the tires are good. Stop in and check us out. Used tires starting at 40 bucks and up. If you need new tires, please call 810-233-8230. Talk to George, Red, or myself, and we will get you your quote. New tires are delivered within 1 to 2 business days and installed on the day they're delivered. We just give you a call, you show up, we do get them done. If you mention this ad, you get $10 off a set of tires. That's 100% true. But if I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will make sure there's a good discount for whoever the lucky winner is of our 1,000th subscriber drawing. Oh, I know. I know, Fred. Let's go, Tigers. Interesting Major League Baseball factoid. Since they went to this 3-game wild card round, the teams that go 1-0 have won all 20 times. And only 8 times has it been the home team. Oh, you mean this one? I like it. That would be funny. So I expect that we're going to win. I hope we win it. Brent DeWitt, I'm going to need tires soon. Come see me. You're in the state of Michigan. It's worth the drive. We average our tires cost anywhere from 35 to $100 less per tire. Yeah, I know. I shook my moobs. Orlando has to be in heaven right now. Tune in tonight as we do the NFL Roundtable Talks with the Pickums, where I now am 38 wins on the season. So let's see, 16 times 4. I am still above 50%. Not having that great a year, but there's been a lot of upsets. How about them Jaguars? Boy, don't they look great. They look like they could win, and they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory versus the Texans. But as I always say to end every show, try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. Whew. Well, I don't know how much of a discount I can get on them, but I can look into it for you. I'll see what I can do. Mickey Thompson's what size? But much love to everybody here. We got 65 people watching. I don't care what platform you're on. Make sure you give it a like. That helps everybody in the system, whether you're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever we go through. But the work doesn't stop just because I don't want to go. God damn it. I wish it would change. Have a great day, everybody.